Okay, let's see. Okay, so last time we stopped um, about burning fire of set to design. So now the habit of craving. Well, craving goes into a habit because of grasping, which is a kind of substance, uh, which in time creates the illusion of cold, hot, chill, and shivery. This is like the cold sensation felt when one breathes in through the pursed lips. The combination of karma and the craving lead to regression in the form of suffering exploded by crying out against being cold and so by the skin turning blue, red, or white. And O Buddha's figure craving as the water of wheat and O Bodhisattva avoid it as the which a sea of pestilential vapors. Let me check this word. A sea of check this one. What is it about? Mm,
Pestilence would be like a disease causing.
very disease. What type of disease?
Like if you had pestilence on your crops, it would be something that destroyed your crops.
Oh,
So a
I
pestilent
see.
vapor would be something that would be like a destructive, infectious vapor.
Oh, I see. Is it a web of thought, right? Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Hmm. So, first we know that again, we discussed so many times that this country is the capitalist country, especially in the West. Uh, so how can we stay away from craving? Um, hmm, hmm. But here rare to find people that may not have much craving or desire, right? In this type of society, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think
Hmm.
it is pretty rare.
Here, from the cell phone to the cars, type of cell phone, type of car, type of house, type of clothes, type of food, all kind of material things that uh, draw our attention with all kind of the advertisement nowadays. Right? It's not easy. Um, yeah, that's the main point. So how could we share this type of non-craving to common people if they on that path, if they get used of that, or even us for us too. How can we know enough is enough? Uh, we have that type of self-satisfy or um, in this type of society, it's not easy. Yeah. Mm.
Hmm.
So how could we overcome this type of habit, proven habit? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like the
there.
wheel, right? It's like the bicycle wheel. Whenever we turn it, whenever we press the pedals, it keep moving, keep moving, moving, and the more we press, the more it turn. I mean, when we turn the bicycle upside down, and if we don't stop to press the pedal, there's no way for the wheel to stop.
Mhm. Yeah, I do. I mean, this is really at some like the core of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thought that there's a popular songwriter, Paul Simon, who in one of his songs he says, the thought that life could be better is woven indelibly into our hearts and our brains.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the sense of that I mean, in America too, like our flag is red, white, and blue. It's kind of interesting. It's those three colors that are mentioned in this paragraph, and like the idea of being an individual and being able to like go out and get whatever you want and kind of arrange your life and like based like achieving those things that you want that you potentially crave. I mean, there's clearly a distinction between needs and then craving. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
how do we get people to stop? I think that's what a good portion of the Buddha's teachings are. And then applying those is tricky. You know, I think mindfulness is one of the keys.
Mm-hmm. But still, I don't know whether you know what we call MC mindfulness. Instead of McDonald's, they have MC mindfulness. They even advertise the mindfulness as mm, the commodities, right? So that people can use. Of course, we can use mindfulness practice to cool our mind down, to release stress, but the cause of the problem would not be addressed until we recognize it, right? It's like we try to suppress um, the problem, suppress the spring. We press down the spring. Whenever we release hand, this pop up. Or we put the rock on the grass. Whenever we move the rock, the grass grow up again. So we don't address or treat to the cause or the root of the problems. But still, um, um, first, even we know in practice Buddhism so many years, but still sometimes we were drawn by this type of cycle. Um, it's non-stop, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So how could we have a chance to get out this cycle then? There's no way you think so? We
Well,
just mm,
there's there's got to be a way, right? That's one of the Four Noble Truths.
mm,
I think I you know there is the gradual path
mm,
or there's the path of like practicing for subtle awakening.
mm,
I think, I think if we're going to be serious, we have to kind of tie ourselves to a stake periodically with our practice. Like take something that we do consistently and that we don't debate whether or not we're going to do it, but to try to strengthen our mindfulness so at least we can witness the consequences of craving. Like maybe we can't stop craving yet, but we can become aware of what does it give us.
mm,
And if we witness what we think it's going to give us, and then we witness like what's it like in the process of craving and seeking the object of that craving and maybe attaining it, like and what is there any satisfaction? Because
mm,
I think that gives us a possibility of short circuiting the process because I think it gets maintained when like if I just see the payoff of some craving and I'm not
mm,
appreciating the consequence. And I think we can even fool ourselves too sometimes about the reality of the consequence of craving. So cultivating relationships of people who are also practicing that. So we try to create a situation where we're not hiding from the truth that we know and where we're accountable to other people. So it really seems like the whole I mean, all of the Buddha's teachings really reinforce how to how to gradually unwind craving, or suddenly if someone like achieves realization through um, intensive meditation.
Um, in some countries, like if they have a problem with war, with disaster, um, and so forth, and it's much easier for people to recognize the impermanence principle, right? Uh, Especially during Vietnam War, there's so many there, so many killing down there, and even in my own experience, without observing or witnessing the horrible problems in society during the or even after the war, when the Communist communists try to control people, I would not recognize as people easily. So in this country, everything is so smooth, everything goes smoothly. Uh, we get things that we want to have, maturely. Uh, of course, there's some exception like COVID-19 that would wake people up in one way in others. But still, many people they may not recognize those type of craving, whether it's come from the physical one, the mental one, the emotional ones, as impermanent, they still attached to them. So yeah, unless they understand the need of their oh, sorry, the need of controlling their craving, that will suffering. Otherwise, they just go with the flow, whether they are at home, at work, even in the relationship. Yeah. Mm, mm. So it's not easy, right? It's not easy for common people to recognize this kind of problem, right? Craving problem, right?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's like it can't it's not really like a casual thing
Mm-hmm.
because it's so normalized as what people do, is that that's like kind of like how people get satisfaction in life, is they build up an idea of something they want, and they think about it and they want it and they work towards it, and then they get it, and or they don't, but they have it just in their mind as like a possibility. um and there's certainly some elements of that it can be like a positive craving, like if what they want is going to bring benefit to other people and themselves too. Like some things, like if someone wants to, like if someone really wants to be, um, like be free from suffering, and that's like that's like the type of craving that neutralizes the negative aspects of that. Because it's kind of like we can yoke that same mechanism for trying to get something, and
Mm.
we can like turn it on itself. Um, but how, like, I mean, how do we wake up to it? I think, yeah, the impermanence part is one. If we just like dissatisfaction, I think, and that makes sense why the Buddha started with that teaching with the four the four ascetics, because it's one of the things that can detach us from that cycle is pain and suffering, and I mean even tragedy or failure.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Or
Yeah,
maybe missing the consequence of how craving hurts others if we don't experience the tragedy ourselves, but seeing how like, how many children are abused out of craving, how many women are abused out of craving. Um, People become obese because of it and they die young, they get diabetes and they die young. If it's just got it's leads to so many bad outcomes if it's taken to the extreme.
yeah, that's why the Buddha mm, point out to the roots that as long as we recognize the pie scandal, right, are not real, right? So it easy for us to let go of those scandal always. As long as we recognize this physical is real, our feeling is real, our thinking, our sensation, and so forth are real. There's no way for us to let go of them, and we get add on. It's like uh, pressing the bicycle pedal. It's always running, turning and turning. It's non-stop from this lifetime to the next. So only the one that encounter all kind of life problems, they would recognize much easier than the one that enjoy life. Mm.
Yeah, I guess, or if maybe if they're really advanced like the Buddha was, even you don't encounter any personal problems, that someone could just be struck by the suffering of others. But that's pretty rare. If someone's like
Yeah.
rich, wealthy, generally,
Mm-hmm.
it's so rare to see them dedicate
Mm-hmm.
that wealth to
Yeah.
helping other people for the sake of it.
Yeah, because he practiced Bodhisattva conduct for limitless lifetime, so that's why it's easy for him to recognize us on the spot. But for the rich people, probably because they raise some good karma in past life, but now they just enjoy those kind of blessings. That's all. Mm. Yeah, I like you say that. Um, one way was to uh, have people not to stop their habitual pattern of craving, but to remind them that as long as we do things for others, it's not the craving, but for a wish of the common cause, right? Like the wish to build a temple, to build the hospital, to build a school. That's for the common cause, for the other people benefit. We transform the greed into I mean that the selfish greed into uh, the common cause that benefit for everyone. That's why yeah, in scientific tradition, right? In the Tibetan tradition, they transform that type of greed into the wisdom there. You know, but somehow, um, only when we are tired of things, let's say if I eat a lot of candies, right? And so sweet that and so hard that I would not like to touch it. But probably on that particular day, next day, next week and next month, I may try it again. But at least when it's too much for me, I would not touch it anymore.
Yeah, that'll happen to people who like drink too much of a certain type of alcohol. They will like never drink that alcohol again, that type.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. But it makes me think of the neurobiology studies about dopamine,
Mm.
because dopamine signaling, the neurotransmitter, it's the neurotransmitter of craving, because as I understand it, it's like we begin to release dopamine when we anticipate something. Like if someone's gambling and they're
Mm.
anticipating winning money, they get kind of excited and they're releasing dopamine and it's like making them feel good. And then if we achieve what we want from the craving, if we get it and it matches or exceeds our expectation, then we get like a bigger release of it. It's like, and it's sort of this reinforcing thing where then if we're usually like if we keep going, we have a certain capacity to continue to do that. Like we can do it for a little bit, like, and if we keep getting the reward we think we will, then we can keep doing that until we exhaust ourselves. And then it's just like we just have to rest and that system has to regenerate before we engage in it again. But if we don't achieve what we want, then we actually have this big drop in how that dopamine is being released from the neurotransmitters. And so we feel much worse than we did before we started. And so it's like if we want to escape from the cycle, well, success in achieving our craving, like what we crave every time, will actually that's actually not a help for us. It's like the mismatch of if we're let down, if we're struck by the fact that like or we change like what we want, like instead of like this isn't satisfying, this we can if we like see like this isn't going to do anything meaningful. Like I eat this food, it tastes good,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's done. It's like it's over. And what's left? Like, did I spend a lot of money on it that I could have spent on something else? Do I feel heavy and not good? Do I, you know? And I think it's the like, yeah, if we're just mindful of the process and look at it and see the full picture, I think that's one way to turn us away from it without having to face some big tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here I get happy for you talking. Let's see here. Yeah, this is level why lottery winnings don't guarantee happiness, right? That's hedonic adaptation. So we have tendency to return to the stable level, reduce enjoyment, more money, more problems. So anyway, even someone after winning the lottery, like you say that they max out their expectation, right? Materially and financially. But after that, they would not have much excitement and they would not feel much happiness, mm, or have, or they could maintain, they could not maintain the level of happiness anymore, right? It's similar to the you just spoke, right?
Yeah, yeah, like if you have some peak experience and because that was so impressive, everything else is not as impressive because of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so mm, when I was young, my mom used to buy like mangoes, like any kind of tropical fruit. Uh, she would buy the last mm, amount of them so that we could consume until the point that we would satisfy. And of course, on that day, we will be fulfilled it. But the next day or next 1 week later, 1 month later, we still have that type of craving for those type of food.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm. So this has happened to everyone of us too, right? We eat some type of food,
Oh
and
yeah.
and
Any of the senses
mm-hmm,
that's the case. Yeah, if we totally we can totally saturate
mm-hmm.
ourselves with it to the point where we don't want it anymore. Like the most honey's delicious, but if you keep eating honey, you get to a point where you'd throw up, that it'd be
That
disgusting.
that's the point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the point. That's the point for us to recognize us up to the level of saturation. We would not like to have them anymore. But most of the time, like the children, right? They when they play the games, so they play one games until the point that max out their excitement, and after they're done with that game, they move on to another game and so forth. So they keep moving. They will not stop. They find different games. So do we. So go back to the point as yes, as much we recognize the problem or something of craving, we would let them go, or as much uh, we get that pick and come down to the saturated levels, we would not like to crave for those things again. But still, up to that point, still most of us we still move along with the will of craving. Not easy to stop. Mm.
It's like the biggest paradigm shift I think that that we can make. Yeah, because that's mostly how people fill their time. I have elements where I practice just being present with what is,
Mm-hmm.
looking to like be mindful of any craving that arises and just not pursue it. But then still, like that rock, when you take your hand away, if I'm when I'm not intentionally doing the practice, craving naturally comes back in. Not even that it's necessarily like bad things that I'm craving.
Mm.
They may be like neutral, not or harmful to other people, but just I can see how the cycle of it obscures the it obscures the opportunity to let the mind calm, to be able to um like experience the true nature clearer and clearer
Mm-hmm.
because it obstructs it. Yeah.
And that's why we have the pure land tradition, right? You would say, well, instead of attach everything here, the more we attach, this is the first to fall out because we fight for those routines to raise our own karma. I mean, the negative karma, and eventually we may go downhill. So what I say, instead of attaching to those things, why don't you attach to Buddha land? Why don't you attach to the magnificent views, spy place of Buddha land, so that at least at the end of your life, you may go with the Buddha to get out of the cycle instead of attaching this thing here.
Hmm.
Mm. So have you had that kind of thought? Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I've periodically thought about taking the practice of like my main practice being reciting a Buddha's name. I'm
Mm.
still doing the breath as my
Mm-hmm.
main practice, and then I have the mantras. Like I have like three main mantras that I do. Um, but that makes sense. It's like the if the desire or the crave, I mean, if the craving's transformed towards something that's um like when the object of craving or develops us in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's like, for a guy like craving for women, it's going to be kind of limited. It's not really going to develop him in a way that's going to like really bring on virtue. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but craving for the Pure Land, well, then it brings it brings the development of virtue. So like what we aspire to forms us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that it's sense. It seems like a functional.
Yeah, that's why in the Tantric tradition, right, they have what we call guru visualization. You heard about that, right? They visualize themselves as honey
Mhm.
Buddhas. accepting Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, or any Bodhisattva, or even their own guru, so that they are one with Buddha, one with their guru, one with Bodhisattva. And whichever thing they do in the normal life, it will transform themselves into that Buddha, into that Bodhisattva, into that guru. Yeah.
I first came across that in the words of my perfect teacher, the Patrul Rinpoche book, and they have
Mm-hmm.
the Vajrasattva practice in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you start with it starts with well, it starts with contemplating the whole thing I don't have memorized. There's an initial part, and then there's the like seeing Vajrasattva above the head, embracing his Dakini consort,
Mm-hmm.
all of the different elements, seeing them clearly, and then this stream of like liquid luminous light enters into the body and starts to purify it, and there's like a chakra visualization, and then all of the like dark karma is dripping off and going down below, and then below we see the person practicing it sees all of the people in the in between space that have we have karmic debt to, that they like have their mouths open, and this purification that's coming off of us is like falling into their open mouths. I thought that was a little like that was a that part was a little questionable to me. I wondered about that. But then after that, then you see like oneself as Vajrasattva
Mm-hmm.
with embracing the Dakini consort, and then dissolving into like an Om symbol, and it dissolves into white light and disappears.
Yeah. So sometimes if we cannot handle our own mind, uh, sometimes those type of visualization will be more helpful. Right? Um, but not easy because usually we get back to our habitual pattern only when we hear and this was the Dharma, we can remember ourselves. But most of the time, we go back to what we're doing normally in our daily life, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and unless we constantly reminded that, yes, we need to visualize we are as our master, our guru, our Buddha and Bodhisattva, so that we would not uh, attach to anything here around us. Of course, it would make us mm, act, think in different way from other people. And for unless, yeah, unless you go to the forest or the cave to practice by yourself, if you still live around with other people, they may think you're crazy. Right?
Yeah, there does seem to be a because there's I think if I'm like at the times in my life when I was just focused on meditation, there's like a brief period in my life where I didn't have to work. I was in school, it was summer break, and I just devoted my days to that. And I didn't have this desire for companionship or interaction with other people. Like I really got into this contentment and this satisfaction with things as they are. Um, but outside of that, like outside of like entering, not being in that mind state, there like I want to have like cultivate relationships with people, like friendships.
Mm,
And to maintain a friendship with someone who doesn't like, there's not a lot of Buddhist practitioners. Um, to maintain a friendship with someone, it's generally like it takes, I think it takes even a little bit more reminding if one's going to really stay on the practice, because it's like I kind of, I think a lot of people will kind of take on a little bit of what the people they hang out with.
mhm.
They'll kind of get used to that. And if you're going to like, if someone wants to be your friend, they kind of have to have fun when they're with you. And so there's a necessity of sort of like at least meeting in a middle space And yeah, that adds another layer. That adds another layer where that's, I think,
mm,
one of the benefits of being a monastic is that it's very clear. It's like it's people expect the behavior to be different.
mm,
And then, there's other monastics too that, if there's like friendships within that. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that make being monastic hard too.
mm,
It makes
mm,
some things easier, but some things are very hard. And especially, some teachers, whoever you become, like Master Swanha had very high standards and he demanded a lot. Like I'm not
mhm,
saying that it's easy by any standard at all. But
mhm,
that's something I think about, like, and almost it seems hard to not be in that cycle of craving and to maintain friendships in the world.
mhm. Yeah, even at our temple, the children, I used to remind them that don't eat junk, like junk food, like chips or cook and so forth. But so delicious for them. So as long as someone put those chips or coke on the table, they would grab right away. So they may complain whenever I see them eating the chip. I used to tell them, "Oh, don't eat poison." Of course, that's
Yeah,
chemically, all right?
yeah.
But still, it's so tasty. It's so delicious for them to consume them. Again, they build up this type of health patterns when they're little, and when they get older, they would explore any kind of things that they want to, whether it's with their food, their clothes, house, essentials, and so forth. They would max out. They would try to max out whichever thing they want to, and it's not easy to stop. So, but again, in Buddhism, there's many ways. Uh, we provide meditation, but I think for the West, for American Westerners, most of the time they use mindful practice to deal with their own emotional problem, not to deal with the roots. Like, and even for us, we are practitioners. Sometimes we need to uh, combine those kind of techniques, whether visualization, meditation, recitation, and so forth, so that we at least can transform our craving mm, into the source of benefits, the source of benefit for us and others. But still, it just require a lot of skillful uh, practice, skill or flexibility. Otherwise, when we don't recognize them, we may fall into the trap too. Mm. And then you say that, of course, for the monasteries, yeah, it's much convenient for us to keep and focus on ourselves, but a lot of temptation out there. And of course, for lay people, yeah, it's like you have a lot of flexibility in your life. So, but on the top, that all kind of temptation uh, that you have to deal with. Mm, some of the lay followers, they say that, let's say, if they are region, right? Uh, Vegan, yeah, so whenever they go out to join with their friends for birthday party or wedding ceremony, wedding party, and so forth. It's not easy for them to demand vegan because a lot of delicious food out there, and some people they would mm, give the bad comment. uh, why you to remain vegan in when there's all kind of food for you to enjoy. This is one of aspect
Hmm.
of temptation that they need to handle. But go back to the point is that yes, we need to recognize the cause of the suffering, the cause of craving, uh, and until we recognize as they come and go. So we can try our best. Not easy, but try our best to let go of them bit by bit. Mm. They reverse that cycle. Otherwise, it's not easy. We will pull into that kind of wave, that kind of path. Not
Yeah.
easy for us to get out.
Yeah. And it's
Mm.
like at the end of a cycle of craving, I mean, the more pronounced it is, the more, I would just feel used up. And there's nothing that comes from it. Like I think that's what distinguishes the craving is that there's no there's no positive result. Someone drinks all night, then there's nothing really good came out of it. Like they're not going to remember. It's like just a way of taking one's energy and the possibility that one has for like we can do anything with the time that we have. And it just it's a waste. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Okay. So let's just stop it today. We can discuss further next time.
Okay.
Next week, let's see here. Next week I'll be busy. Yeah, 24. I'm flying to California, and October 1st. Let's see. Yeah, let me see. That's the 24. Next week will be 24. For the first, I forgot when we check it out. But probably after October, I will be in New Jersey to take care of the construction of the temple out there. Not doing the construction yet, but make preparation for all the paperwork, all the drawings. So, mm.
So maybe back, you said after the 8th or on the 8th?
Let me see. Probably yeah, definitely next week, the 24th, I'll be flying to California and be back on the 29th or 30.
You know, I had one more idea
Yeah.
that I think is interesting with the craving and the suction part that I just wanted, if we
Hmm.
could just wanted to touch on like 1 minute, like
Sure, sure, no problem.
if based on the best understanding of evolution,
Mm-hmm.
like the before we had a jaw, like previous like the animals as the animals evolved in form,
Mm-hmm.
there was a point where our supposedly our common ancestor was like some sort of fish-like creature that didn't even have a jaw,
Mm-hmm.
and it could just suck in water, or it could suck stuff in. And that's like it's talking about like craving being this act of suction. And with a with an embryo,
Mm-hmm.
when it attracts itself somehow to the uterine lining, and then it burrows in and it starts like sucking the blood. And then when the baby's born, well, it sucks on the mother's breast to get milk. So we see like all of these sort of examples that are kind of along this like this craving for life that have to do with that suction effect. So I thought that was kind of interesting because you see these principles show up as like physical realities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just keep next week, next Wednesday, and after that, I will let you know if I can make it on October the 1st. And but
Oh, we will meet next week. Okay.
no, we won't. Yeah, we won't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm flying. I'm flying next week. No, next Wednesday to California.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so see you then. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.